So this last week I was preparing for a talk elsewhere, and I read through the whole book of Isaiah. And 66 chapters, I just wanted to see what would stick out, what would impact me. And I was struck by a number of things, but one is how many beautiful quotes about Jesus are in the book of Isaiah, which is written hundreds of years before Jesus. St. Jerome calls Isaiah the fifth gospel because there's so much foresight into who Jesus is. And I'm going to give you a few examples. So in Isaiah chapter 7, Ahaz is told to ask for a sign, and he says, I will not ask, I will not tempt the Lord. And God says, fine, I will give you a sign. The virgin shall conceive and bear a child. Here is some prophecy about the coming Messiah that Isaiah foresaw. Just 2 chapters later, we'll hear a child is born to us, child is given. Upon him dominion rests. He is Father forever, Wonder Counselor, Prince of Peace, and God Hero. And you say, how could Isaiah see that? How could he write such beautiful prose about who is this special figure? God gave him some grace to see what the Messiah was going to be like. A God hero, a wonder counselor. And then a couple chapters later, a shoot shall sprout from the stump of Jesse. Upon him dominion rests. And the Spirit shall rest upon him, a spirit of wisdom and of counsel and understanding and piety. And you know, Jesus quoted that, Isaiah first, his first quote in the synagogue when he began to preach. Many, many quotes about Jesus. Later in Isaiah, the suffering servants, upon him are the stripes that make us whole. If you read through Isaiah and you ask, where is Jesus? It's so beautiful and so profound. In the gospel today, there are some disciples of John who go to Jesus, and they, on behalf of John, say, what are we to say? Are you the one to come? Are you the answer? Are you the one we've been waiting for? Now, Jesus didn't say, yeah, I'm the guy. Go tell him. Yeah, I'm the guy. Jesus wants those disciples to be heralds just as much as he wants John to be a herald. And so he empowers them. He says, you go tell John what you see and what you hear. We become ambassadors for Christ, not when we can just repeat a catechism, but when we can say what we see and what we hear about the Messiah. And so they report, the lame walk, the blind see, the dead are raised. Amazing things that they see. Now, John was probably not asking, are you the Messiah? You have to remember, John baptized Jesus. And John saw the Holy Spirit descend on Jesus in the form of a dove. John saw all that. He was probably asking, what kind of Messiah are you? He's now in prison. What does it mean for him, who will suffer a martyr's death? So John was challenged by Jesus to faith right to the end. Will you believe I'm the one? The blind see, the lame walk, the deaf hear. And you, John, like the dead, will be raised. And so John, with faith to the end, invited by Christ. I was praying over a woman in a hospital, and she had a very large stomach, intestine area full of liquids. And the whole family gathered around, and we prayed over this elderly mother. And 10 people, a lot of people praying. Well, the next day the fluid started to diminish. She went home eventually, but I was so edified, not too long ago she died, like 4 years later. And the daughter said something about her mother. She said, I believe that day in the hospital, Jesus heard our prayer. And she got 4 more years. And I thought to myself, she sees with the eyes of faith. She can't prove it. The doctor can't prove it. But she saw it. And not only that, she became a herald of the good news. God answers prayers. In your life, how do you see Jesus? How are you hearing Jesus? If you see and hear Jesus, you can be a herald like John.